Hi, today we are going to do stem and leaf plots. You may have seen these in 5th grade. So a stem and leaf plot organizes data, like all graphs do. Each leaf represents one piece of data. And you may be thinking, well, what about the stems? Well, the stem and leaf go together, but to figure out how many pieces of data, then you count the leaves. This is why. Because your number is 72. That's the first number in your data set. So you put one stem with the leaf. So the first number is 72. The second number is 72. The third number is 74. So this whole line are 70s, right? 74. I'm going to do them faster. 75, 76, 79, 76, 79. Okay, so now we're going to go down to the 8s. Okay, so we have 81, 84, 85. 81, 84, 85. Then we have two 87s and an 89. And then we go to the kids that made 90s on their test. So we have 90, 91. So that 0 matters, right? Because that doesn't represent 0, it represents 90. Okay, and then we have 93, 95, 98. And then we go down to the two kids that made a 10 with a 0, which is 100. Two kids that made 100. Okay, so the leaves are the last digit of the data. And then the stem is all other digits. If you were in 5th grade and your teacher said, oh, the first one is the tens place and the next one is the ones place. Well, not always. Because look at this stem. This has 2. Okay, so the stem is nice and beefy with the leaf of a 0. So that's 100. All right. So the key down here always tells you, sometimes it'll be decimals. These happen to all be percents. So I could go back and put a percent sign on all these, which I'm not going to. All right, so when you're creating one of these, you don't start with a number line like in the other video. You start with this thing right here. It's called a T-chart. Okay, you start with a T-chart and you put the tens and hundreds place. Over here is the stem. And then you put the ones place as the leaves. Multiple leaves, leaves. All right, and then you get to analyzing it, okay? You can analyze your data because it's now organized. So, the mean. You're going to add up all these and divide by how many test grades you have. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Okay, so you add them all up and divide by 19. And lucky for you, I have already done that. And I get an average or a mean of 85 point, and let's call it 0.7. Okay. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to find the median, the middle number. I would highly recommend just going back to the numbers that you wrote out in order. Doing it on the little chart can be done. It's just a little confusing. All right, so we go little big, little big, little big. Little, big, little, big, little, big, little, big, middle. Okay, so your median is 87. Okay, what numbers do you see most often? So it's not like, hey, the number 2, hey, the number 7, right? This is 72 and 72. 72 and 72. There's no more 70s that match. There's a couple 80s that match, 87 and 87. No 90s that match, but there's 200s, right? So these two match, 72. The 87s match, and the hundreds match. Since they all three have 2 that match, that is our mode. We have 3 modes. We have 72, 87, and 100. Okay? So our range, lowest to highest. So our lowest number was a 72, and that went all the way up to 100. So if we find the difference, the range is 28 test points. So the lowest, from the lowest test grade to the highest test grade is 28 points. All right, are there any outliers? Something that's way far away from everybody else? No outliers this time. Okay, and now we've got to find IQR, inner quartile range. Well, we're halfway there, right? So now what we have to do, here's the median. So now we have to find the middle of this bottom set and the middle of this top set, okay? So we're not going to count the 87 because it's already been the median. So we're going to go little, big, little, big, little, big, little, big. Okay, so 1/4 of the data is smaller than 76. So 76 is the bottom number. Now we're going to do the top half. Little, big, little, big, little, big, little, big. Okay, 93 is the middle of the top half. Okay, so the middle 50% of the data, so half the test grades are between 76 and 93. So that's a 17-point spread between the middle half of the class. Okay, if you have any questions, please ask your teacher. Bye-bye.